Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Kim here. And yes, it's me. I'm just getting over this cold, but I still have a bit of a raspy voice and I still cough a little bit. But I wanted to say thank you to everyone who gave me well wishes and checked in on me and stuff. Thank you so much. I'm doing much better. And today is our Antonio Makes Monday. And I have one of his Christmas kits. I actually got several of them, and I've gone through them all. And I'm starting with this one today. Now, I think this one is called his Christmas Sweets. Oh, I can't remember. But I will link it below in the description box. And it is 11 pages, and I'm just going to show them all to you. Now, I just printed this on regular copy paper and just a standard print. But there's this lovely collage paper. And then this one here is just gingerbread men or people. Cookies. Aren't you getting excited for that kind of stuff? More sweets. I love this one. This is a really pretty one. Love the colors in here. And then there's some tags. And some more sweet. These are all fussy cuts to cut out. And another selection of tags. Love the blue background. And then these coffee tags. And another full sheet of candy canes. And another one with Mr. and Mrs. Gingerbread. And other cookie things. So there are so many things that come to mind when you get a kit like this. I'm just, there's the possibilities of a recipe journal. There's the Christmas daily journal to keep track of what's going on in your day. Just so many possibilities. And because it's sweets, I really wanted to focus more on the giving of sweets and treats. I think a lot of people will be doing Christmas journals through this next little bit of season. I've seen a lot already. And I just thought I wanted to do more of a focus on packaging and ornaments and gift giving instead of so much on the journaling, because other people are going to be doing journaling. So I thought today I would just talk about, sweet treats that we make and we give as gifts. I don't make a lot because it's just Tom and I hand out a few things to the neighbors. So I make butter tarts and a couple of little things, but that's about it. We don't need it. We don't really want to have the extra stuff in the house because when we're going to eat it. And so it's just, for us, I don't have that much. But I know that when I lived in Manitoba, because I didn't make a lot, people always gave us stuff. Both sides of the family, everybody bakes, so there was always so much stuff around. And, sometimes you got little tins of cookies or you got little bags of cookies. And then there was my friend Heidi who gave you a mountain of cookies. So there was just always different kinds of goodies and different ways of packaging things. But, with the price of things and how it's getting more and more expensive, it's not easy to bake 2 dozen cookies for somebody. Yeah, there's some special people that we want to give a little bit more to, but on average, you don't want to be making 2 dozen cookies for everybody because, it's getting expensive. And so is the packaging. Those cute little Christmas tins now can cost you $4, $5, and $6 for the same tin that used to cost you $1, $2, and $3. So we find ways to cut back or, give smaller portions, or just find a way to acknowledge people and say, we're thinking of you, and not having to have all that added expense. Because when you add up the hairdresser and the bus driver and, the school teachers and the mailman and all those other people that you want to give a little something to, but you can't afford to give a whole tin of everything and then pay for the tin on top of it. So sometimes simple packaging is something that we can focus on and create some fun ideas. And so for the next few weeks, I'm going to use Antonio's kits to show you all different ways that you can decorate and enhance your packaging and, you know, create some fun little gifty things that you can give away as gifts. So I thought it's just something different. And so yeah, I'm going to focus on that, and I'm going to do it over a few weeks using the 3 different kits that I have, as well as any freebies that he has coming up on the Mondays as well, or on the Fridays as well. I'll slip those in as well. Excuse me one second. Sorry, I had to get that out of the way. So yeah, each week I'm going to do a little something up until, you know, maybe the last 1 or 2 weeks of Christmas, and then by then I'll be doing my own thing, and so will you. But yeah, I wanted to start with, let's start with making a little bag. And we all know how to make Christmas bags. But I'm just going to take the paper, and I'm going to assume that I've got a few newbies that are kicking around too that might not know how to make a simple bag. And I'm just trimming off the white margin edges here on the paper. Could have done it before, but I really wanted you to see how the kits were in full. And I could have probably done it on my cutter a little bit faster, but you know what it's like. Now, if you were giving, you know, a little gift to the bus driver or a teacher, well, maybe give the teacher a little bit more, but, you know, there's always the mailman, that kind of thing. A simple thing by taking a full sheet and folding it over and overlapping it. Now, I've just overlapped it about an inch. I mean, you don't have to even give that much. And somewhere in this pile, I have a glue stick. I do. Here we go. Now, because it's paper, it's very easy to just glue these up with just a glue stick. You don't have to do anything too fancy. And then taking the bottom, I'm just going to put a little, about 3/4 of an inch. My thumb is what I use for that measurement. Folding that up, you can use your bone folder to get it flat. And then now this is the bottom, not the top. But then once it's got the fold mark in it, I just take my scissors and make it look like a shipping tag. And then folding one side back, I just trim off the second side. Now, I could have done this before I actually put the bag together and glued it, but this works just fine as well. So now the flap, I'm just gluing it up to close the bottom of the bag. And I'm going to keep that little piece because I know I'm going to use it for something. And instantly you have a little gift bag. So if you've got your fancy scissors, your fancy pants scissors, as I always say. Here's some, here, I don't know what I've got, but we'll pick one. You can take your scissors and trim it off. If you don't have these type of scissors, you can always use pinking shears. You can always tear the top of the bag to make it look rough. And you have an instant little bag that you can fold down. Let's put something in it, right? So that we know what we've got a big cookie or something in here. Okay, will this fit? That looks like a big cookie to me. Okay, so then you just would fold it down. And what I like to do to secure it closed is put 2 hole punches. That's a nice big cookie, isn't it? And then I like to feed a ribbon or a string. In this case, I'm using some twine. And just closing it by making a little bow. And you've got a cute little package. Now you can add a tag on here as well. Add some sentiments, add a little note card on here. And it's a nice little gift to give somebody, and it's a nice way to present. Especially, if you make those monster cookies, those great big ones, you could easily fit a monster cookie in here. But I would recommend, of course, that you put it in some type of a plastic bag first, so that the oil from the butter or whatever you're using, shortening, doesn't come through the bag. But it's a nice way to present a cookie, right? It's so easy, and always a welcome gift. Somebody will always enjoy something like that. And you can just say, it's a sweet little treat to have with your coffee. It's not about, what's in the package as much as it's the thought, right? So that's one way that I like to package up little goodies. And then supposing you want to give a little bit more. Now, I use this method for two reasons. One, I like to be able to print any kind of wrapping paper I want for small gifts, because I can wrap up a little box. I can wrap up I can wrap up treats. I can wrap up a pair of socks or something that's irregular. So I find it's always fun to package it in this way, and then I can print whatever color wrapping paper I want. So taking this other sheet here, where is it? This one here. What I did is I printed 4 of these. And I'm just going to put these ones aside. So I've printed 4 of them. And I've cut them out on most of the sides. Except I want to glue these all 4 together. So I left this white margin just to give me that extra little bit of room, because sometimes we need a ½ an inch. So I've left it as a way of joining these 2 pieces together. I could have done it with all 4 of these, but it would have got complicated, and I want to glue all 4 pieces of paper together. So I'm going to glue these 2 as well as these 2 and then glue them together. So I'll just do that really quickly. Now, in case you're wondering, I used to be in retail sales years ago. And so packaging gifts was a big thing. And we used to do a lot of fun packaging for our customers, and just to show different methods of packaging. This is one of my favorites to do. And it can be done with wrapping paper as well. But again, I like the control of having any color I want when I want it by printing my digitals, whether it's mine or Antonio's or whoever has. This is a great way to, especially, when you've gone to the end of the roll of your wrapping paper, or you've got one more gift and you've run out of wrapping paper. This is a great way to create a full-size sheet of wrapping paper, and again, print something that you like, as well as not have to run out and buy a whole roll for one gift. And gluing the papers together, it will hold very nicely. You can reinforce it with your white glues if you are putting something very heavy in there. But usually if you're putting something heavy, it's going to be in a box or something anyway, and you're just using the wrapping paper as a means to cover it. So it's not like it's dependent on the structure of this paper. Now, to do this reasonably straight, I'm going to just put a little fold in here. See, I see I'm coming undone here because I'm in a hurry. And this is just so I know where to glue when I'm gluing the next piece on. Okay, so I've glued these 2 together and making sure I'm going in the right direction. And I just gave myself a little crease line so I know where I'm matching up to. It just makes it easier. I'm working in a small quarters here. If you're working on your dining room table, it might be a little bit different and you might have a little bit more room. But for me, this was the easiest way to do it. Okay, so just matching it up best as I can. Oop. Okay, I now have a full-size piece of wrapping paper with 4 pieces of paper. You could even use your junky papers that come in the mail that you can still print on one side. You can print over top of book pages the same way. You can print on scrapbook paper on the other side. So there's lots of ways to create extra paper. Now, for making this bag, instead of folding it to the middle like this, I don't want to have that seam right down the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it this way, making sure that I don't leave the other seam, does that make sense? Exposed right at the edge. I'm just going to line it up fairly close. I may not have cut this perfectly straight. So now I have a nice front to this bag, and the seam is here on the back side. And now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to fold it in. Excuse me. Running out of room here. Okay, so I'm going to fold it in. Now, your folds will, of course, depend on what you're wrapping. In this case, I don't really know what I'm wrapping, but I'm going to fold it up as if this is going to work for me for size. And then just bringing this paper back, you can now see that it lines up to here. It lines up nicely. And so when I glue it down, it's not going to have any effect on the bag. The bag is still going to be the full width, but it's just overlapped it and given it a nice finish so that I have this nice finish on the front. So I'm gonna quickly glue that down. There's my glue stick. And like I said, if you are putting something heavy in here, you may want to use another method for gluing. You can use your white glue. And going all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so now that's glued shut. And this is the back side. Yes, the back side, the seam is here. But on the front, we only have the one seam down the middle, which you really can't see unless you're really looking for it. So we know where the top of the bag is. We know where the bottom of the bag is. So I'm just going to take the bottom and fold it up about 3/4 of an inch, just like I did with the, and that's my thumb. Might be closer to an inch in this case, but so I'm just going to fold it up and get a nice pressed seal in it. I'm just using my fingernail, and then I'm going to open it up so I can see the crease. I hope you can see the crease there. And I'm just going to make it look like a shipping tag by cutting up to the fold. And because this is the front, I'm going to keep the front and I'm going to get rid of the back by cutting it out. Keeping that strip. So now I just have to glue this up and I have a really large bag, but we're not finished. Now, this is a great way to, like I said, wrap up a gift at the last second. Maybe you're giving a bag of caramel corn that you make at Christmas time, or you know that party mix. Some people make party mix. You can put it very nicely into a freezer bag, slide the bag inside here, and it gives a really pretty presentation. But my favorite thing to do with a larger bag like this is to create a little bit of a decoration on it. So I am not going to trim this right now. Let's first of all put a bag of caramel corn in here. That looks like a bag of caramel corn, right? Okay, so I'm going to fit my caramel corn in here. Now, I'm only using about half of the bag. You can go all the way to the top and do this very same method. It's very effective and it looks very pretty. But in this case, I'm only going to use half of the bag. We're only half in the bag, not all in the bag. So I'm going to start by making a little fold in this towards the back. So you may want to do one of these yourself with me. And I'm going to take my bone folder tool that I'm using for the day and put a good crease in it. And then I'm going to fold it, accordion fold it back the other direction. And I'm going to continue to do that until I get all the way down to where the package, the present is, whatever the present is. Going back and forth like a fan, accordion style. All the way down. And this I did about a ½ inch, and you can play around with trying this with a bag yourself to see what works for you. On top of each other and then back down again. And this is the front of my bag, I believe, right? Yeah, I've done it so good. Yeah, that's the back. So I'm going to do one more time. And that is the last fold that I'm going to make with my bag. So you can see how many folds there are here, going all the way back up. Now, there are no, I don't have a set rule of as to how many I make. It depends on how long the bag is and how much room I can squeeze out of it, because what you're putting inside is going to dictate how much folds you can make. But what I like to do is grab these two together, and it's tricky. You got to do it carefully. And you can either staple it or glue it, but I recommend gluing it. And we're just gluing the two flaps, the very first two flaps here from your fold. So I'm going to staple it. And then I'm going to staple it a little further down. And I have this really pretty fold, fan fold on the top of my bag. And there's a little hole in here. So it just so happens I have some nice raffia ribbon here. You can use a red ribbon. Actually, I'm going to use a combination of both. You could use yarn. You could use brown string, packages tied up with string, right? Okay, let's see, how much do I need here? Wool works nice, fibers work nice. I think that's not quite enough. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to weave this through first, then I can see better. I want it doubled. So you can play with your ribbon however you like, of course. This is just how I'm wrapping up my caramel corn. And just evening the two ends out. I'm just going to tie a knot first. And then a pretty bow. You could add some bells. You could add some holly on here. You could add curling ribbon to make it all curly. I think these are my tails. And in no time at all, you have a very pretty gift that you can give to somebody. So it's not always about the packaging, but sometimes it just makes a nice presentation depending on what you're putting in it. This is a great way to wrap up a couple pairs of socks for somebody. You know, maybe you get some nice fuzzy socks for one of your gal pals. This is a great way to wrap up something more personal. You know, soft packaging. It could be used to wrap up caramel corn, cookies, candies, all kinds of things. So that's just two very simple packages made with Antonio's paper, and aren't they gorgeous? The only problem is I can't put these under my tree because this is just a box of labels right now, and this is just a box of fabric. But I will certainly take these apart very carefully and reuse them for Christmas for this year for some of my gifts. So I hope this is something that's of interest for you. It's a little bit different than doing our junk journal stuff, but it's just to show you how you can use printed paper and so many other opportunities to use it. So I would love to hear some response from you on this, because if you like it, then I have lots of other ways of decorating and things I can show you between now and Christmas, so that you can get your baking done and get it all packaged up before you even have to buy a roll of paper. And even that, rolls of paper now are not inexpensive anymore either. So this is an alternative to printing something that you like, because you know in a 4-pack of rolls, you always get one roll you don't like. So this is a great way to create your own packaging and your own wrapping paper for the holiday season. Anyway, that's it. That's all for today. I wish you all a very creative week. It's Monday. It's a little bit overcast, but the sun keeps trying to peek through, and it's still warmer. It's cold at night, and the snow is all gone, and we still have a little bit of green grass showing, so that makes me happy. Tomorrow is my Techniques Tuesday, so I have a little project for that. I'm not doing too big of projects this week because my voice is limited, so it'll be little projects. So that's it. That's all for today. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.